folks. My name is Eugene Stacy, and this is the podcast, Auditory Lounge with Eugene Stacy, where we discuss anything and everything having to do with audio media, including book reviews. Today's podcast, though, is going to be something a little bit different. On the Spotify version of the podcast, which is the audio version, we have a music section. We're going to bring that back. And for those of you that are jazz aficionados like myself, we are going to review the album Heart of Gold, produced by Ellis Marsalis. Now, Marsalis is, of course, the father of Wynton Marsalis on piano. Wynton Marsalis is, of course, on trumpet. We're talking about, of course, his father, Ellis Marsalis, who is a jazz pianist. Now, the track we're going to be taking a look at from Heart of Gold is called Dr. Jazz, which we cannot play due to copyright reasons, of course, but we are going to be reviewing the track. Now, in the first portion of the track, Marsalis takes what is a long piano solo playing the melody. He then goes into an improvisational section. He then allows his son, Jason, who is a drummer, to ride his instrument for a couple of minutes using a technique called stop time and call and response. Now, for those of you that don't know what that is, stop time is a technique used by many jazz musicians in which all of the other musicians will drop out of a piece of music except for the soloist that is being featured on the piece of music that is being played. Now, Ellis allows his son, Jason Marsalis, to play the drums for at least a couple of minutes before coming back in for the final stretch on Dr. Jazz and writing us out, which means that Ellis finishes the track on piano. Now, his piano work is over the top. This reviewer is very, very happy with the entire album, including that track. Ellis does a spectacular job on piano, as does the rest of his quartet. There is no other comparison to any other player in the pianist jazz world, at least not according to this reviewer. Now, here come the ratings for this album. For musical technique, you get 5 out of 5 stars. For album title, you get 5 out of 5 stars. For album features, you get 5 out of 5 stars. For album concept, you get 5 out of 5 stars. And finally, for the entire album itself, you get 6 stars. Now, I don't usually rate an album beyond 5 stars. However, Heart of Gold is an album which I feel deserves at least a 6-star rating because Ellis does do such a fine job in producing the album, and the music you get is top notch. He takes his listeners on a journey that most jazz players, especially pianists, don't do. Ellis is such a fine piano player. Unfortunately, when COVID hit New Orleans, we did lose him. His son, Wynton, is still around. Again, his son, Wynton, is on trumpet. But as I said, his father is a top-notch player. And I will always remember and play Ellis's music because of that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind that these are this reviewer's views. If you like Ellis Marsalis and are jazz aficionados yourselves, please remember that these are only this reviewer's views and should not reflect anyone else's views. This has been Eugene Stacy with the podcast Auditory Lounge with Eugene Stacy. And remember, folks, here on Auditory Lounge, your table is always ready.